Oh man, these two are the biggest clowns on YouTube, right? And I mean, this your boy Z, the real here. I'm back with another video, but I've been on YouTube for like the last like 5 years, right? 5 years ago, man, I made a video about these two, especially, right? I told people 5 years ago to stop paying attention to these people's channels when it comes to sports, right? The stuff they mostly talk about when it comes to astrology and Gematria, right? And trying to go against Freemason, Illuminati, and all that other stuff, or the devil, right? Ain't got nothing to do with sports, right? Ain't got nothing to do with the NFL, the NBA, MLB, none of these sports, right? When y'all gonna wake up and realize that these two are not the answer, man? You listen to two knuckleheads who are literally crazy as hell. These people these are two people who literally don't take their education seriously. These are like high school dropouts or whatever, right? These people believe in a nonsense. I told y'all stop listening to these fools, right? Now, there's a friend of mine, named James Turner. Shouts out to James Turner from DC. He did the he does plays, right? He's been nominated, right, for being he's been nominated for a director award, right? So the Love Game, he's famous for the Love Game, right? Shouts out to my friend James Turner. But this dude was a subscriber of Zachary K. Hubbard last year, right? The series when when Kawhi Leonard shot that 3-point shot, send the game, close the game instead of going overtime, and Hubbard said it was Mannix. James Turner went along with him, so I told James, like, man, what are you doing listening to Hubbard? Hubbard is an idiot, right? And I showed James Turner my video that my very first YouTube video where I exposed him, right? Now James didn't really talk to me supposedly all that much. I mean, we and him are not as close like we used to, right? Because we used to be roommates. But I had to tell him before, like, man, you need to stop listening to it. And even now, when the what was it? Was the Chiefs defeated when the Chiefs defeated the Titans? This dude trying to say, oh, not the Titans, the Ravens, right? When the Titans defeated the Ravens, right? This dude say, oh, the Ravens didn't go against their script. They do what they supposed to do in the script. So I told him, like, look, man, you ain't got no respect for the game of football, right? Lamar Jackson made too many mistakes. There's things he need worked on, like his throwing. His timing was off. I told him that, right? And I also told him to stop listening to Hubbard. So this is the reason why I'm doing this video, right? Because I need to let my friend James Turner know, man, and I'm going to show him this video as soon as I'm done, that you don't need to be listening to people like Hubbard. You need to stay away from these two, right? But this video is not going to be so much about these two, because I've exposed these two far enough, and plus there's already hundreds of videos of other YouTubers who put these two on blast, right? Everybody have put these two on blast, right? Have called them out for being losing, right? But this video is going to go towards the people who have subscribed to their channels who believe they nonsense, right? And before I continue, for the idiots who had the nerve to put Green Bay in the Super Bowl, right? You assuming just because the NFL is in this 100th season, and the Chiefs and the Green Bay Packers have played each other, right? In Super Bowl I, and it was Vince Lombardi winning his very first Super Bowl, right? Y'all assume because those two played each other, right? And y'all looked at that commercial, which, by the way, that discount double check commercial, discount double check commercial, right? The Allstate commercial, right? I told y'all, the State Farm, right? Excuse me, the State Farm commercial. I told y'all that was who the NFL wants to lead the NFC was Aaron Rodgers. Those are two MVPs they put together, right? Because they wanted Aaron Rodgers to represent the NFC, and they wanted Patrick Mahomes to represent the AFC. They ain't had nothing to do with those teams winning or getting to the Super Bowl, right? You see, that didn't happen, right? That had nothing to do with the playoffs. Okay, I just told y'all in my video when I compared Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson to who I feel is going to get MVP, and I told y'all my reasons why I think Russell Wilson should get MVP. I told y'all if they don't give Lamar Jackson MVP, it's because they trying to protect Patrick Mahomes' stock. So that was about right. But Aaron Rodgers was already their guy, right? Aaron Rodgers is the leader. That's the leader of the NFC is Rodgers. That's who they keep putting the spotlight on, right? They only put Mahomes on there because they want to make Mahomes the new face of the AFC instead of Brady. Because I told y'all, man, Brady is done. And I told y'all this before the playoffs even began, that the Brady-Belichick era was going to come to a close. I told you that last year. Brady should retire when he defeated the Rams, right? When he won that Super Bowl, right, that low-scoring Super Bowl, and got 6, that should have been it. He should have retired. Greed was going to be his downfall, and y'all see that, right? So for the people that was on RFG, the Chosen One's channel, and y'all took Green Bay and Kansas City, shame on you. Again, man, that's not why Green Bay lost. The 49ers won because Green Bay couldn't stop the run. And I'm going to get to that in just a second. But for these two right here, man, again, man, for the subscribers of these two channels, man, when y'all going to learn y'all lesson, right? Because I told y'all, man, I already figured out RG, the chosen one. He's running hustle right now, right? This guy stays in Vegas. This man here, right? This young man here, what this guy does, he chooses a specific two teams, right? Yeah, this guy does his little gematria like Hubbard does, right? This guy does his gematria, right? He brings on past history. He chooses two specific teams, right? Like example, he had the Houston Texans going all the way to the Super Bowl, right? He gonna put the Houston Texans in there with the Niners. Now, I'm gonna give him the credit, the benefit of the doubt. He did predict the Niners was gonna go to the Super Bowl 5 years ago, right? When Atlanta lost, when he took that L in 2016, right? He did predict that the 49ers was gonna get to the Super Bowl, but he said it was gonna be in California. He said they're gonna have home field advantage. Well, he was wrongly mistaken, right? Because they don't the Super Bowl not gonna be in LA. Right? The LA didn't why would they put the Super Bowl in LA? They don't have an arena built yet. Right? They can't possibly do that. When 2016 was when that Super Bowl when the Patriots defeated the Falcons, right, from that 26-point lead, the Rams Stadium wasn't built yet. They new arena's built this year, right, in 2020. They're gonna have their new arena built, but that arena wasn't built yet, so they couldn't possibly move in there yet. Right? They wasn't gonna possibly move in this year because the stadium's not ready to be for everybody to move in. That had to be either 2021 or 2022 when they might happen. But they always had them Super Bowls in Miami. Right? They had it in Miami. They would like 95 or 94, 95 season when the 49ers defeated the Chargers was the only time that Super Bowl was in Miami. They've been having it there. Right? They had it back in 2000. Right? When the Ravens, when Ray Lewis, Shannon Sharp, right, Trent Dilfer led them Ravens against the Giants, right? I believe that was in Miami, if I'm not mistaken. So it wasn't the only freaking time, man. But this guy based some stuff that ain't got nothing to do with the game itself, right? I told y'all, RG Chosen One chooses a specific team he wants y'all to put money on. And that same team he tells y'all that's going to the Super Bowl, he bets against. I can guarantee y'all, right? And I'll put I'll almost bet the house on this, right? Just as the Texans played the Chiefs, this dude had money on the Chiefs. This dude bet against the Houston Texans in that game last week, right? He ain't fooling me at all. He may can fool y'all, but he can't fool me. I guarantee you, this dude had money on the Kansas City Chiefs, and he wanted money from that, right? He didn't even take the Texans at all, because deep down he wasn't looking for the Texans to win that Super Bowl. He knew the Chiefs was gonna get to the AFC Championship game, right? I told y'all before the season started, the Vegas odds was on Baltimore and Kansas City, right? Common sense would tell you that Kansas City was in the AFC Championship game last year, right? It came down to a coin toss. And when it comes down to coin toss, they could go to either side, right? So for y'all that say the game is scripted, a coin toss is a fair game. The coin they flipping is two-sided. It's impossible for that side to just weigh on one side. It's going to either go A or B, okay? New England won that because of a coin toss, because that was an offensive game. Neither defense could stop the other, okay? So no, RG Chosen runs a game. I told you, even in 2016, I told y'all, don't ever just put money on two teams that are uncertain, right? I told y'all, right? Andrew Luck didn't have the team he had in 2016 like he had last year. Like last year, the team he had with Frank Wright, that's a championship team. That team would have actually went farther, would have been the playoffs had Andrew Luck not decided to retire. And before I continue, the reason why Andrew Luck retires is the same reason why Kuechly retired, right? Because those two realized that there's more than life than just football. They made more than enough money. Like Andrew Luck was one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the last 5 years. And Kuechly is an all-pro linebacker. That man made plenty of money. Both Andrew Luck and Luke Kuechly made at least over $25 million. With about 40,000 guaranteed. Like Luck been in the league at least around 7, 8 since he's been in the league since 2011, 2012, right? Same thing with Kuechly. Kuechly been in there since around he came in there around the same time Richard Sherman them did. Those guys don't want to play no more. And Luke Kuechly's case, he retired early because he didn't like the fact that Ron Rivera was fired. Remember, Ron Rivera was the one that got that team to the Super Bowl, to the second Super Bowl, Super Bowl 50. That was Ron Rivera. That man won a Super Bowl with the Bears with the sweetness, right? Back in the 80s. And he took that Panther team, rebuilt them, and led them right back to the Super Bowl, right, with Cam Newton winning MVP. Luke Kuechly didn't like that at all. Because he knows that it wasn't Cam Newton's fault that team wasn't successful. The GM don't give Cam Newton enough receivers to throw to. They rely too much on Christian McCaffrey, right? And then you had Eric Reed talking trash. This dude talking trash and not even focusing and then getting embarrassed. So Kuechly like, no, I'm done. And plus, man, Luck and Kuechly are both loyal, right? It's just like Calvin Johnson and Barry Sanders. They're not gonna play for no other team. But getting back on point, no, this in 2016, man, even the Vikings, right? The Vikings had Sam Bradford. I told y'all, any team with Sam Bradford on there is not gonna win, right? I told y'all that. And what happened the following season? Bradford gets injured. Chase Keenum goes further than Bradford. But that year in 2016, Andrew Peterson got injured because he's getting older. Peterson was not the same guy he was when he was in 2012. That man not only got injured, but he got suspended an entire year, so he didn't have the same game speed no more. I told you, man, RG Chosen One runs a game. He wants you to choose a specific team so he can bet against them in certain games. Again, man, he's not fooling me. This dude had the Chiefs in that game. This dude had money on the Chiefs instead of Houston Texans. Okay? He's not surprising me at all, right? Now, as for Zachary K. Hubbard, I told y'all before, this guy is a racist prick. Okay? This dude here wants to be worshipped. He wants to be a god. Right? He's almost like a Jim Jones type dude, right? This dude is running a cult. Because there are people who still kiss Hubbard's ass, even though this man literally has made basically terrible remarks against Christianity. This dude has came against Christians, right? This dude talks against the Jews all day long. And people still support this dude's channel, right? Only because the type of people support him are actually racist. They're just as ignorant as he is, right? This dude don't really care about black folks. I told you that. Hubbard uses black people to try to get sympathy so you can continue to support him, right? He don't give a damn. This dude has no respect for the black athlete at all. As much as dude make predictions, this dude talk about the black athlete like they animals, right? This dude said Kevin Durant faked the injury, and you look at Kevin Durant's legs, right? No, that man really is hurt. This dude has been hurt for a whole year now. This dude came back in the Warriors game, right, in the playoffs, in the finals last year, and still re-aggravated that ACL, right? This dude want to say injuries is fake, but never played a day in his life, right? I told you, man, this man wouldn't last 5 minutes on the football field with gear on. This dude would be getting his ass, his block knocked off, right? Again, you listen to somebody who's literally on drugs. Hubbard is literally, when he does these videos, he's high on meth. He's high on crystal meth and all kinds of other stuff, right? This dude is clearly not in his right mind. This is somebody who's collecting an SSI check every month because he's mentally ill. I told y'all that about Hubbard, man. He wants to be a god. This dude wants to be worshipped. He wants to be a savior. That's what he wants. And I get why, and I question y'all, right? I understand why some of y'all are subscribed to these channels, right? Because you so into conspiracy theories, right? You want to know about the system. You got hatred for the Illuminati and Freemasonry. Okay, I understand that, right? You know what I'm saying? Y'all entitled to your own opinions, right, and your own beliefs. But my thing is, man, how long is he gonna lie to y'all, right? How many predictions is he gonna get wrong before y'all understand this guy doesn't know what he talk about? This guy has no knowledge of sports at all. Neither one of them. Hubbard nor RG, the chosen one, don't watch Sports Center at all during the week. Okay, their TV is not on that. They're not watching none of these games. Okay? Like, for example, when the playoffs started, right? When the Saints played the Vikings, was they even watching that game? And speaking of Saints, these dudes talked about the Saints last year. This guy had the Saints last year, right? Talked about the Rams and Saints game was rigged, right? But when that no PI, when the ref decided not to call that pass interference, the game wasn't even over yet, right? The Saints did get the ball in overtime, right? Breeze last year got the ball first like Brady did, right? Breeze had an opportunity to drive downfield and at least try to score a touchdown, or at least kick a field goal so the defense could stop the Rams, right? That didn't happen. This dude throws an interception, right? The Rams defense pick him off. They get the ball. They actually score, right? They end the game. So again, man, and then what happened this year, right? Fast forward to this season, right? What happened in the playoffs? The Saints get bounced out the first round in overtime. The same result. They lose in overtime, right? What does that tell you? The Saints are not that good. Because for the last 3 years, the Saints have been losing twice. This is the second time they lost to the Vikings. Last year, they lost to the Rams. Okay, so what does that tell you? They're not that good of a football team. They're not good enough to compete for no Super Bowl. And this year just proves it, right? The Saints not that good. Breezy to retire like Brady is. His time is up. That's all that shows you, right? But this guy is not going to tell you this, right? So now let's get to some numbers, right? So this dude, RFG Chosen One, idiot behind. This dude had the nerve in his last video, had the nerve to say, oh, the 49ers are going to the Super Bowl because, oh, in 2012, the power went out, right? The power went out. And in 95, when they won each game against the Chargers, they played against the Lightning Bolts. Which, again, you talk about two completely different times, right? When Steve Young was with the 49ers and they let Joe Montana go, when Montana went to the 49ers, right? Went from the 49ers to the Chiefs, and he lost against the Chargers. during that season, right? That was in 94 and 95. Okay? When 2012 happened, that was like 22 years from that. So you talking about some stuff that was 22 years apart. And why would you bring up the Super Bowl they lost in the power round from Beyonce's performance, but they didn't even win? They lost to the Baltimore Ravens. They didn't win. They didn't lead that entire game. And I told y'all why, man. Colin Kaepernick wasn't that good of a quarterback. He was not accurate at all. Why would he even bring that up? Now, for those that was watching the Green Bay Packers championship game, the analysts actually brought that up. The last the 49ers ain't been to Super Bowl since 2012. Okay? They ain't been in 9 years. That was 9 years ago. 2012 was 9 years ago to this day. We in 2020, right? They ain't been to a Super Bowl in 9 years. Next year it'll be 10 years. Okay? So that was almost a decade ago. Okay? No, I'm going to tell you why the 49ers defeat the Green Bay Packers, and I'm going to tell you why the Chiefs, you know what I'm saying, defeated the Titans, right? Now, in my video, right, I admit that me choosing the Ravens and the Seahawks to go to the NFC and AFC championship game is wrong, right? I took my L, but the Chiefs and the 49ers, who was the other teams that I predicted battling those two out, actually made it, right? So at least half of my picks right. So I stayed true to my picks. I told you I had Chiefs beating Titans and I had the 49ers beating Green Bay. For starters, right, I knew that the Chiefs basically retained the same team they had last year. Andy Reid basically kept those guys together. They didn't lose nobody, right? And this is the same Chiefs team that Patrick Mahomes suffered an injury midway into the season. Just like I say, they lost 5 games. Most of it because Patrick Mahomes was not there. And when Patrick Mahomes came back, they did lose, right? They lost the game, right? But Patrick Mahomes was able to bounce back, right? He was able to bounce back and get this team 11 wins and get a second seed in the playoffs. And which, by the way, man, how many of y'all still believe in the Madden curse now? Because if I'm not mistaken, right, with the exception of Gronkowski and Brady, Patrick Mahomes is the only other quarterback, right? The only other player that basically was on the Madden cover, right? There's been videos that have done this, but from the history of Madden covers, right, since Garrison Hurst and Barry Sanders were the first two, every player that's ever on the Madden cover has all gotten injured, right? Suffered injury and their career was insane. Mahomes was able to bounce right back off of injury and win like 8-9 games, right? Win like 6-7 games to get his team into the playoffs and actually get back to the AFC Championship game and win, right? So it looked like Mahomes broke his curse. Because the only reason why Gronkowski and Brady was able to beat it because they're Patriots. Gronkowski was injured, was on Madden 16 cover. He was injured and the Patriots still beat the Atlanta Falcons and won. In Brady's case, yeah, he lost to the Eagles, but the man didn't get injured at all. Okay, that he was on the front cover, but he didn't suffer no injury. Came back the following season and won another ring. Okay, Mahomes looked like he beat the curse, right? So, but continuing, right? Mahomes just got the Chiefs in there. They ain't been in 50 years, okay? And I know it's a Zachary K. Hubbard, I don't know if he chose one. I don't believe they told y'all. Y'all correct me if they're wrong. For y'all that subscribe to the channel, did they ever bring up the last time the Chiefs was actually in a Super Bowl, right? Before the season started, before that we having the Super Bowl, right? Did they bring up the Chiefs? The last Chiefs Super Bowl was in 1978, right? When they played against the Minnesota Vikings. Did RFG, the chosen one, even bring that up this season? Okay, since he want to bring up history, and these boys going to bring up numbers, man. Let's go to the numbers, right? 1978. That was the last time the Chiefs was in a Super Bowl, right? It's been 50 years. We've been on 100 season, right? Andy Reid has been in the playoffs for the last 6 years in a row. The last 6-7 years in a row, right? Ever since Alex Smith came over there, and Alex Smith's second season, he's been in the playoffs, and he's never missed a playoff season ever since Alex Smith's second season with the Chiefs. Okay. Notice the Chiefs let go. They released Alex Smith and they put Mahomes in there, right? Mahomes wins the MVP last season, right? He gets 5,000 yards, takes the Chiefs to the AFC Championship game against New England. They lost because of coin toss, right? Since then, they retained the same team. So Mahomes just did what he did last year, and not to mention Mahomes did beat the Baltimore Ravens in the season 2 in week 2. He beats the Baltimore Ravens, right? So I told y'all, man. I had the Ravens originally battling out the Chiefs because they want to see who could win the tiebreaker behind Mahomes and Lamar, but that's not gonna happen because Lamar is just still too young, right? So Mahomes beats the Tennessee Titans, which by the way, Titans wasn't gonna beat the Chiefs. This is a Chiefs team who came back from a 24-point lead with the Houston Texans, who basically blew it. The Texans don't deserve to compete for no Super Bowl. Let's be honest, man. That was horrible, right? That was terrible. But do you see RG Chosen One getting on the Texas head about losing? Hell no, because he can't accept losing his damn self, right? So for people that subscribe to RG Chosen One channel, what you got to say to yourself? What you think of him now? I wonder, are you gonna keep still subscribe to this dude here, right? And as for the Green Bay Packers, right? As for the 49ers, right? I knew Green Bay was going to beat the 49ers because, for one, yeah, even though Matt LaFleur is a rookie head coach, he did very well, right? I'll give him that. He was able to continue what Mike McCarthy built. Let's just be honest, right? Matt LaFleur's little brother Mike is also on the 49ers as a play caller, right? That's Matt's little brother Mike. Mike already knew everything about his older brother. And when I guarantee you, when the San Francisco 49ers were preparing this week, and when they was prepping, they was watching game film, which, yeah, these guys don't just practice on the field. They're in the game field. They got a playbook, right? Which is not a script, Hubbard and RMG. For you fans who are watching this channel, there's no such thing as a script. They have what's called a playbook that has actual formations in it, right? They have for the offense, the receivers have their receiverships, right? The play calls that the quarterback gonna call while he's hiking the ball, right? And a lot of those on the run. The defense has different coverages from cover 2, Tampa 2 to cover 3 to 4-3, right? The 5-2 defense. They got different shifts and formations. They call the shift guys left and right there, right? Like, for example, when Richard Sherman got that interception, right? Him and the safety switched off. He guarded his man. It was one-on-one coverage. Richard Sherman knew not to let nobody pass him. That was his job, right? To cover the deep thirds. That man did his job well. It was either deep thirds or it was cover 4, right? He said to get deep. If you're going to go man, make sure keep the guy inside you, right? Which he did. Okay? And he picked him off. Right? You ask any DB that. In certain covers you go, whether it's outside in, you keep the receiver inside you, right? If you're going cover 3, keep the receiver inside you. If you come to the flats, make sure they don't go inside you, right? But you cover either side of the field. You see, you're gonna keep the number 1 receiver inside, the number 1 receiver outside you, or you're gonna keep the number 2 inside you, right? That's where it goes, right? So again, you got Mike LaFleur that already knows what Matt LaFleur likes to do, right? On top of that, Kyle Shanahan is the son of Mike Shanahan. Now, 1998, right? That was the last time Green Bay and San Francisco played each other, right? Which RG, the Chosen One, don't bring up in this video. And I don't believe Hubbard brought that up neither, right? 98. In 1998, you had Brad Favre versus Steve Young, okay? That was the Jerry Rice, Terrell Owens days, okay? Andy Reid was actually on that coaching staff with Mike Holmgren. He was Mike Holmgren's offensive coordinator, right? So technically, Andy Reid is going into his 3rd Super Bowl, right? Yeah, it's his 2nd one as a head coach, but this is 3rd one in his entire career. Because Andy Reid was on that Green Bay Packers team in 96, 97, excuse me, 97 and 98 when they defeated the New England Patriots, right, in New Orleans. And then when they defeated the San Francisco 49ers and Candlestick. The only difference is now that it's the opposite, right? It's the Niners defeating them. But yeah, 98, that was the last time Andy Reid was in there, right? But now fast forward to 2020, you got Mike's son, right? Now, Mike defeated the Green Bay Packers in 1998 when he coached John Elway, Terrell Davis, right? If you look at the way Mozart is running it, it's the same way Mike Shanahan used Terrell Davis. Mozart had 220 yards in that game. Terrell Davis was averaging that many yards in games back in the 90s. Because in between, I say 97 through 99, Terrell Davis was the man. That was like the Adrian Peterson of the league back then. Right? He was the best running back of the AFC. Yeah, you had Emmitt Smith running the NFC, but the AFC was all Terrell Davis. Terrell Davis was way better than Jerome Bettis. I'll be honest. Terrell Davis was better than Jerome Bettis, Chris Warren. You young folks don't even know who that is. That was the beast mode before Marshawn Lynch came, right? Yeah, so you had those guys, right? You had Ricky Waters. You had Marcus Allen before he retired. You had Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders was good, don't get me wrong. But Barry Sanders didn't have the success that Terrell Davis did, right? Yeah, Barry Sanders was still great, right? But yeah, so Barry, the NFC was in between Barry and Emmitt Smith, right? Let me correct that. It was in between Barry Sanders and Emmitt Smith, but AFC, it was all Terrell Davis. So besides Chris Warren and Jerome Bettis, those type of running backs, right? And Jamal Lewis, Terrell Davis was that guy, right? And even Eddie George. This was before Eddie George, because I think when Terrell Davis retired, when Eddie George took over, right? But Terrell Davis was having a better season than Eddie George in 98 and 99. Okay? So that was Mike Shanahan. Mike Shanahan won 2 Super Bowls back-to-back that Kyle Shanahan witnessed when he was a kid, right? Everything Kyle Shanahan runs is what Mike Shanahan gave him. And remember, 5 years ago, right, in 2016, that Atlanta Falcons team, right, Kyle Shanahan, Mike's son Kyle was the offensive coordinator with Dan Quinn, right? It was Kyle Shanahan's playbook that got the Falcons to the Super Bowl, right? It was Kyle Shanahan's playbook that got Matt Ryan the MVP that year. Okay? Because notice, when Kyle Shanahan left and took the San Francisco 49ers job like 2 seasons ago, notice the Atlanta Falcons ain't been the same since Kyle Shanahan left. The Falcons have went completely downhill. They have literally declined. They're back to being trash when Mike Smith had them. They look like they was in 2014 before Dan Quinn took over and they had to rebuild, right? And that's why I understand why the Falcons owner made that ridiculous statement on Twitter trying to say, oh, the league is scripted, right? Yet he was a Super Bowl 33 loser to Mike Shanahan's Denver Broncos. I told y'all that 5 years ago, right? For those who watched in that game, right? They had Mike present the award to his son Kyle, and they did that in honor of it, right? Because it's the 100th season, right? So you have a father and son that both are competing in Super Bowls as head coaches, right? Which is special. I don't think that's ever been done before. That's like a first, man. To have the son going to a Super Bowl competing for a title like his father did, right? Because Kyle Shanahan's mission right now, folks, is to win 2 back-to-back. And he could technically do it with this 49 team. The 49ers could actually win 7 Super Bowls. Let's say if they do beat the Chiefs, if that does happen in February 2nd, let's say they go back again next year, they can technically do it again and go to 2 Super Bowls. They have the squad. Okay? So no, this wasn't scripted at all. Nobody saw this coming, right? Because like I said, y'all had Green Bay defeating the 49ers, right? And y'all had both Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes in there because they both doing the same commercial, right? And y'all brought up the fact that it's the NFL's 100th season, right? So y'all think that the Chiefs and the Packers gonna battle each other out because history gonna repeat itself, right? Well, y'all was wrong. Y'all was dead wrong. The Niners, if y'all watch the Niners the whole season, they were the best performed team in the NFC. Let's just be honest. Yeah, you had the Saints up there, right? You had the Packers, right? The Packers was doing good too. You had the Saints. Everybody had the Saints over the Niners. I'm gonna be honest, man. Everybody thought the Saints was gonna get to the NFC Championship game over the Niners, but Niners was literally the best team, right? Yeah, the Seahawks beat them, right? That's because Russell Wilson is that good of a quarterback. But they did beat the Seattle Seahawks in the last game going in, right? So again, man, the Niners, and look how long it took them. It only took John Lynch 3 years. And speaking of John Lynch, this is what RG and Zachary Hubbard not gonna tell y'all because they ain't been watching football that long. John Lynch was a part of that Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that what was it, Chucky, right? AKA John Gruden, right? When John Gruden left the Raiders, right, and went to the Buccaneers, which by the way, he left my Raiders destitute, right? Tim Brown, right? I feel sorry for them, but that's a video for a whole nother day. When John Gruden went and took over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 2002, right? That was a team that Tony Dungy had built, right? Now everybody knows why they fired Dungy because Dungy kept losing to the Eagles in the playoffs every year. But Tony Dungy still, you know what I'm saying, was able to make it work with Peyton Manning, win his ring in 2006, which shouts out to Tony Dungy. He's officially the first black coach to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. So good for him. Congratulations. I clap it up for him. I look forward to seeing his speech. But John Gruden in 2002 coached this Buccaneers team to a Super Bowl, right, which they defeated the Oakland Raiders. And that was a team that had John Lynch at strong safety, right, well, free safety. But you had Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, Rondé Barber, right? And then you had Michael Pittman at running back, Keyshawn Johnson receiver. You had Brady Johnson, right? You had that team that John Gruden coached to a Super Bowl, right? And they first and only Super Bowl thus far. So John Lynch was around in 2002, right? And that was one of the only years where the Patriots didn't win a Super Bowl, right? So again, he defeats the Raiders and wins a Super Bowl, right? So that's the John Gruden you see now that's on the Raiders. And the only reason why John Gruden came back to the Raiders because he owes him one for leaving like that, right? But that was Al Davis's fault. We all know Al Davis, just like Jerry Jones. Their main problem is their ego. But getting back on track, yeah, John Lynch is literally being nominated for Executive of the Year as a GM. This guy brought in Kawhi Alexander, Nick Bosa, Richard Sherman, who he persuaded to join him, right? And I told y'all in my last video, Richard Sherman joining the 49ers is like when Deion Sanders left the 49ers, went to the Cowboys. He went to the NFC rival, right? So you got Richard Sherman, right? And then you got Jimmy Garoppolo, who was, again, this guy won a ring as a backup. When the Patriots defeated the Seattle Seahawks and they defeated the Atlanta Falcons and so forth, Jimmy Garoppolo was on the bench, okay? Before he got traded to the Niners in exchange for Hoyer, right? So again, Garoppolo was a Belichick guy, right? He was under Tom Brady all that time, so he has skills. This is the time he gets a chance to start and shine, right? For the last 3 years. And remember, Jimmy Garoppolo, I'm going to make note that he came into the 49ers trade deadline and won way more games than Kaepernick did the previous season. Okay? So for you, Kaepernick, like the Rick Strobe, you duckleheads, you idiots, who are so pro-black that you praise Kaepernick, right? Garoppolo proved himself to be the better quarterback than Kaepernick. All right? If Garoppolo wins a Super Bowl, I don't want y'all talking about Colin Kaepernick no more. But anyway, so yeah, John Lynch did it back then. As a player, he won a Super Bowl, right? John Lynch literally, man, took him 2 seasons and rebuilt this 49er team and has them literally in a Super Bowl, right? So again, man, that's history for you. That's the numbers, right? You know what I'm saying? Screw all this Gematria stuff. They ain't got nothing to do with this game. Gematria didn't help no Aaron Rodgers beat the 49ers all. The 49ers who scored 34 points. They could not stop the run. And I knew the Packers wasn't going to beat the Niners because they're too young. The Niners have a way better offensive line. The Niners' offensive and defensive line was way better than that. Remember, the defensive line did get to Aaron Rodgers at least 2-3 times in that game, right? But of course, these two are not going to watch it. These two were not watching the game at all. They just wasn't, right? And Hubbard want to predict scores. Some of the scores he get ain't even right. These two are just idiots, man. These guys are just like, these guys again, man. Hubbard, I told you, he just wants to be worshipped, right? RG Chosen One likes his voice to be heard, right? These guys need to leave sports alone. They don't know what the hell they talking about. They don't watch these sports at all, right? They have no knowledge of the game. These two can't name 5 players, not name the only team besides the quarterback. They can't. They can't name the coaching staff, nobody. They don't have no understanding of the game at all. But see, I'm gonna get on you subscribers because y'all are the ones who keep taking the L's, right? I'm not gonna blame them this time. I'm blaming you guys because you guys are the ones who keep promoting their channels. You keep subscribing to them. And you're the ones that keep egging them on to keep doing this ridiculous. You subscribers, you're the ones who keep promoting this nonsense, this garbage, this waste of time. These guys are just wasting camera time, right? You can't say what Trump does got anything to do with the game, right? Because again, where's the Patriots now, right? You see, Trump got bigger things to worry about than an NFL game, right? That didn't help the Patriots at all. They lost. And Hubbard had the Patriots this year, right? Again, Hubbard not taking the Chiefs seriously